Get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid. Roll one up, let's catch this flight. Pour another cup, ho, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid.
Hey, yo, we back at it again. You know, it's your boy Ray's podcast, coming live from the 10th floor of Hello Studios in the beautiful downtown Dallas. Thank you for rocking with your boy one more time. Man, I'm so thankful and blessed to be alive today. I thank the Lord for life, health, and strength this morning. So thankful. So, I don't know what y'all did this weekend, but I've had a pretty eventful weekend. I'm pretty sure if you were an internet Dallas Cowboys fan or social media fan of the Cowboys, I'm pretty sure you'll see what we're about to talk about, but we're going to dive into that in just a second. Real quick, I got to shout out all my sponsors. Shout out Lyrically Correct. That is the lyric trivia card game. You think you know your 90s, 2000s hip-hop R&B trivia, you know your 90s R&B trivia, them gospel hymns, the 80s. Get this copy of Lyrically Correct. I have all the different copies you have on their website. Go to lyricallycorrect.com. Put in promo code RayRay23. Get your 20% off all the different copies of Lyrically Correct they have, all right? Again, also got to shout out Lit Vacations. If you're looking for the next bachelor or bachelorette party, you're looking for that family reunion, that destination wedding, or just the homie kickback trip, hit up my guy Austin at Lit Vacations. That's LITTvacations.com. He'll hook you up on some of the best rates you can ever get on any vacation. You know, each year I host a big group outing. So this year, June 6th through the 10th, we're going to be in the DR. If you're interested in going on that trip, got the information on litvacations.com. Hit up Austin. He'll give you the best rates on that. You can network, meet some friends, meet, business people, some people you kick it with forever. Each year, this trip gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Don't miss out if you want to go. Cool. All right. So if you listen to the show or watch the show regularly, you know, I got to start the show off with some positive words. You know, somebody may have had a bad day or bad week or a bad month. I want to reset that for you. All right. So just in case somebody told you today, I just want you to know that you're beautiful. You're loved. You're needed. You're alive for a reason. Hey, you're stronger than you think. Whatever it is you're going through right now, you're going to get through this. See, here on this show, Ray's podcast, I'm glad that you're alive and don't give up. So it's important to speak positive words to people because everyone is dealing with a battle that we do not know about. So be kind to people out there. Keep those positive words in your mind. So when tough situations pull up, you can go back and you know what? I am who I say I am. I can do what I can say I can do. Bet.
Amen.
Let's stand on business right now, I guess. Now,
Good word, Ray.
Let's get into this.
I feel better. I feel good, man.
So you hear we got some great people here in the studio right now. Law, tell these people why we in here right now. I'm gonna let you talk.
Talk my goodness, man. Hey, we in here not to have a good time. We in here to have a great time and to also stand on business. SOB and TCB. I call SOB stand on business and TCB take care of business. And on top of that, man, I have Terrence Parsons Jr. in the house, and I also have my guy, my brother from another mother, no other, don't look like Danny Glover, boss. Cowboys sports, man. We finna have a great time. We finna talk about the Cowboys. We're gonna do another recap of the season. We're gonna talk about future projects, what we're gonna do far as coaching, far as free agency, far as contracts. And far as how we use this dude as a force multiplier, who's generational talent, that people compared him to LT, and you already know who he is. And his name is Micah Parsons. He got his brother in the house. So we're going to definitely talk about that, and we're going to cover anything and everything, Ray. So go ahead, man. Break it down.
So just so everyone out there that's watching it, all right? I know somehow y'all internet people on there be acting crazy and acting weird and trolling, and this ain't none of that today, all right? No. You know, we here going to have a civilized conversation.
Exactly.
There were some comments that went viral. Yes, you know, everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to break those down. This is not to bash anyone or no particular person.
Right.
We just going to lay our thoughts, what everyone thought about it, you know, because everyone has their own opinion. We may not agree with it.
Right.
But we can agree to disagree in a civilized manner. So don't be out there calling people clowns and shit like that because they don't say what you want them to say.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. We'll be civilized about this. All right. So everybody knows the elephant in the room. All right.
Right.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room we got here. My boy, Jesse. Shout out, Jesse. He was on the show. We did a round table with myself, Rhea Turner. Shout out, Rhea. She's out covering the Shrine Bowl right now.
Yeah.
My guy, Law, Mr. 6'3", Dero. Shout out, Dero. We was having the conversations, about how we thought the 2023 season went.
Right.
More specifically, the playoff game. That was very disappointing.
Very.
Not gonna lie. It was garbage.
Horrible.
It was disturbing as a
Disgusting.
fan. Yeah.
All of those.
All the words.
Man.
Atrocious, egregious, all of that.
Despicable. The Minions ain't got nothing on that.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And my brother Jesse, he had some pretty strong takes about a particular player. That player's brother's in the studio right now.
Right.
Some people did not take it very well. They did not take it very well at all. And there were some people like, hey, I kind of agree with that. So it's been a big riff in the Cowboy internet community. It's a divide. Yeah. Now, I want y'all to know this. I do not work for the Cowboys. For those of y'all that are putting comments out there saying that the front office played at this seat, nah, ain't nobody playing no seat over here. I wish they could throw some money my way. I mean, what's up?
Jerry, run that bag here, man.
Run the bag, bro. What's up?
Bag here,
no. The comments on this show are everyone's individual comments. Ain't nobody being paid by the. Well, I guess he is technically being paid. Technically, but we ain't getting paid to stir no pot. Yeah. That was not the intention of anything. Everyone has an opinion. Like I said, that was just one person's opinion, okay? Could be right, could be wrong. We don't know. It's just that person's opinion.
Yeah, he started saying that it was his opinion. That's the first thing out of his mouth. So.
Yeah.
That's definitely what he said.
So let's go ahead and let's
definitely what he said.
Let's go ahead and let's dive into it.
Dive in it.
Let's go ahead and dive into it. So Terrence, you saw, I'm sure you probably have seen it quite a few times now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of your family probably done seen this clip.
Right.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure there was some strong takes. I think Mama Parsons even had to jump on the late. Let me
Yeah. Once Mom and them jump in,
I'm like, all right.
She put it in the best words possible for
them.
The best words.
Yeah. She wrote a whole essay and everything. So break it down, bro. Break down your thoughts of everything, and then we're gonna feed off of what you're saying. Go ahead.
All right, bet. Basically, you know what I mean? I don't know Jesse Holly personally, you know what I'm saying? So I can't speak to, you know what I mean, his intent or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I done talked to you guys. I talked to, some other people that know him. And, you know what I mean? They say, you know what I mean, he's a pretty stand-up guy, you know what I'm saying? For me, my words to him, you know what I mean? Gotta watch what you say and how you say it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, everybody can say an opinion, you know what I mean? Opinion-based things. But I feel like an opinion got to be based on something. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you are stating your opinion, so you say, but or like you don't have no idea what's actually going on, I just feel like you shouldn't speak on those things, you know? I just feel like most of what he said, if you do your research, that can easily be, like, refuted. You know what I'm saying?
Refutes,
You know what I mean? Watching my brother train every day, he doesn't really take days off, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's dedicated to his craft. Like, that's one person, no matter, like, what's going on, he's focused on the task at hand, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the backlash from the media and the fans is just not warranted, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's the star player. Y'all want him to produce in big games, but y'all often confuse good with dominant, you know what I'm saying? When a person's dominant, the offense has to game plan for them. Right. Their main responsibility is to eliminate him. So, you know what I mean? When you don't see production, you can't take that and be like, oh, he just had a terrible game. No. Would you say that about Aaron Donald? You know what I mean? When he doesn't get a sack, he doesn't get a tackle for loss, but he's taking on 3 guys so somebody else can get there. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where, you know what I mean? If you're not watching the game in the all 22, watching what's actually going on, you know what I mean? You shouldn't really be speaking on how you think he should play, you know what I'm saying? Because it's hard out there, you know what I mean? A lot of people aren't built for this, you know what I mean? He's a 3-time All-Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He just shouldn't be getting the backlash that he's getting.
I feel you 1,000,000% on that, right? And I always say everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And on top of that, when you look at the kind of caliber of Parsons, ever since he been here, we won 12 or more games.
Bingo.
That's a fact, right? Those are things that's not up for debate. So when we look at Parsons' overall skill set, we're looking at it, how can he be implemented in a better way? And you just broke down how you see Parsons, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
also,
go ahead.
Also, with that, what I'm thinking about, before it slips my mind, it kind of also goes back to something what Jesse said.
Right.
That star on the side of your head is going to bring so much more criticism than being any other team in the league. Just by having that star on the side of your head, it's just going to be, as all eyes is on the Cowboys. We saw a week after we were out of the playoffs, what are they still talking about?
The Cowboys. Yeah.
Coaches go to their state because this is the media circus.
Yeah.
We are.
Leading into the Super Bowl, I guarantee you it's going to be Cowboys conversation. Who's going to be the defensive coordinator? What can the Cowboys do to get to the biggest and the brightest platform? What do we need to add to, or take away? Because they're going to have to start talking positive about the Cowboys because of the Pro Bowl. They're going to start talking. I say they talk negative all about the Cowboys all year. And then when it's time for the Pro Bowl, they're going to say, now it's time to talk positive about the Cowboys. And I'm talking about the 3-letter to 4-letter networks. Now, the Cowboys always have this great divide. It's always fan versus fans. And it's always those type of things that always be multiplied because of the 3-letter to 4-letter network. And I'm not beating them up, but they keep talking about them. Of course, people are going to digest what they say and believe it, right? So when we heard Jesse Hollis said that Micah Parsons is probably the most selfish player.
It was that.
It was that. But also, everything that Jesse said about Micah Parsons, he also countered it by talking about that he believed that Parsons is the best player at that spot if he go play linebacker. He will be better than a Fred Warner. He will be better than a Roquan Smith. He will be better than a Ray Lewis, by the way. So what are your thoughts on Micah Parsons? From what you see, is he more of a linebacker off ball, or should he continue to play on that edge on his career with the Cowboys?
I think he's a pass rushing linebacker.
Okay.
I think Dan Quinn said it the best. He's a pass rushing linebacker. You know what I'm saying? I think that if you, like I told people, if you're looking for production, you're looking for him to actually make an impact in every game,
right?
He's going to be at a linebacker position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because, you know what I mean? If you watch, teams switch up their whole offensive game plan when they play the Cowboys. Why? Because of Micah Parsons, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the pass rush, you know what I mean? They're getting the ball out quicker. They're throwing shorter routes, you know what I mean? And honestly, yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have to go to linebacker to make an impact. Just a simple, we're going to play our guys in bump and run coverage and give the pass rush enough time to actually get there. You know what I'm saying? It's really you know what I mean? It's a disservice what Dan Quinn was doing with the defense. You know what I'm saying? You got this great pass rush, and then you got your corner standing 10 yards off the ball. You're allowing them to go 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards all the way down the field and not make no adjustments. You know what I'm saying? But then people who don't really know the game aren't seeing it as, oh, he's getting the ball out in 2 seconds. There's no way that guy can get there. You know what I'm saying? They're not really looking at it like that. They're just saying, oh, he didn't get there. But you know what I mean? You got to look at the whole scheme. You know what I mean? The whole picture of
that
it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, you leave Micah one-on-one, he's going to win. You know what I'm saying?
Perspective-wise, from what Jesse was saying or lamenting, let me just break it down to smaller fractions here or a smaller sample size. Is Parsons better than a Damone Clark?
For sure.
Is he better?
That's not even a question, bro.
Yeah.
That's not a question.
That's not even a question. No offense, you.
No offense, but is he better than the dude that was 205 pounds, Marquise Bell?
Listen.
Wait, before we move forward, I gotta say this one thing, because us as Cowboys fans have gotten greedy. We've gotten greedy. We wouldn't have known Michael was that good of an edge rusher if D-Law wouldn't have got hurt.
True. Man, I was just about to speak on that.
Because that's what happened. We had to propel Micah into position to do this. And it was like, once we saw it, it's like, God dang, this dude.
But that's
It's
what I
cold-blooded
mean,
at it.
though. Like, but that's what I mean, though. Like,
Yeah.
how can you call a player selfish when no matter what y'all ask me to do, I've done it. I will do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be selfish. You know what I mean? He was a linebacker. He was drafted as a linebacker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Injury, he had to go to the DN. They seen what he could do at the DN. They see that, we've hadn't had a pass rusher like this since DeMarcus Ware. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So we want you to stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you're our pass rush now. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know what I mean? Y'all talked all season about using him as a chess piece.
Yeah. Right.
Where was that? Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, where was that? Yeah, I mean, so
hey, Terrence, I gotta ask you, man, because I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. Like, I've done content where I've said that Micah does not seem like he wants to play linebacker, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so after the San Francisco game, they asked him, "Hey, what's going on? You know, with the run game?" Right, and his exact words was, "Hey, man, I set the edge," and so I said, "Wait, hold on." That doesn't sound like a guy that's a part of that group. And they don't even sound like you wanted to be a part of that group. So it's one that, and we talked about Jesse before the show, like Ray and I, vouching for the character of Jesse. So I'm not going to say that Jesse was fully being like an opportunist. Right. If I'm saying what's going on with, I set the edge. You know, so like, can you set the record straight in terms of him and even wanting to play it?
All right. Well, at least
and I know he's
real quick. Yeah, I mean, by that means I did my job. I played my role. Right. What I was supposed to do. Okay. Set the edge. You know set the edge. Okay. I set the edge. I forced it back inside. My guy's supposed to be there to make the play. Okay. That's number one. You know what I'm saying?
So you saying that's what he meant by that?
By he meant. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? And I was just telling somebody this the other day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's 11 guys on defense for a reason. Everybody has a responsibility. Everybody has a job. When one person doesn't do their job, there's a hole. True. You know what I'm saying? So when, you know what I mean? When he said, I set the edge. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's my role. That's my responsibility.
So do you think it's the Cowboys that's not using him as a chess piece enough, or is it something to where, because, you know, I'm going to go ahead and put out there what people are speculating. People are speculating this is about the bag, because we all know how it works. Right. Defensive end is the fastest way to the bag. Defensive end is the fastest way to get defensive player of the year, right?
And they get quarterback money. Some of them,
they get QB money. You know, so this is where selfish is trying to register to some people, you know?
Right. Yeah, but you got to look at it two ways, though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it both ways, because, pass rushing is going to get you the bag.
Right.
True.
Jerry can still pay him a bag, being a pass rusher, and use him as a linebacker.
True.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Does Jerry want to pay a pass rusher money to play linebacker?
There we go. Hey, say, I got to jump in one more time.
Get in there. All there.
Right, so, because, see, I talked about on a channel that I do, is I said, like, I see that's on them energy from Micah Parsons in terms of that's the linebackers. Yeah. But then I also said, can you blame them? And this is the reason why I said that, because it's also, to me, just like Jesse said, this is my opinion, but to me, to him, I can understand where players for the Cowboys would be reluctant to make sacrifices, because at sometimes it does seem that it's used against them. And you hear that from profile players like Dez Bryant, Cole Beasley. Yeah. You heard it from Amari Cooper. We also saw, especially CeeDee Lamb, say something that stood out to me. Right. He said something was wrong when I didn't get my targets between quarter 2 and 3. Right. So when you say something is wrong, that shows me a trust issue from front office treating me right, from me making the sacrifices for this team.
True.
Yeah.
Boy, that boy deep. He dug deep in that.
Because like a lot of people don't really understand the politics of football.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's way deeper than on the field. I promise. It's way deeper than that.
Yes.
It's way deeper than that.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't really get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? From the outside looking in, you might want him to play linebacker. I want him to play linebacker.
Right.
Because I know the type of impact he can make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He can go
But
be
if
your
you put
Fred
your
Warner
toe in
and
that
then-
water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But also remember, this is the only sport that doesn't have fully guaranteed
What
money.
is- Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a baseball player, because that's why I said my son gonna play baseball. If I have a kid, soccer, you don't get that $500 million. We don't get that. I mean,
Yeah.
NBA, all the money's guaranteed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All these other sports, football is probably the most physical sport you
Man,
can
brutal.
play.
It's a gladiator.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
years off of your life,
Yeah.
And people
your
don't
quality
get
of
that
life.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just had to say this though. All of those players are a Ron Shazier hit away.
yeah.
And I always salute the players for going out there getting their
money.
bag.
Get your
And-
money.
And I seen the business aspect of it. And I seen how the Jones family operates and run their procedures, especially as it relates to that.
Because you're an employee. Remember that.
Yeah, you are
You're
an
still
employee.
to them.
And we used to say, man, if you get hurt, you get paid over here in Cowboys land because they
it's
will
true.
shoot you that
Yeah.
they will shoot you that low ball money, you know. And I'm not trying to beat them up when I say this, but they ain't afraid to use that franchise tag. And I said the franchise tag
It's
is
the
equivalent
worst.
to those check and go places, those title loan places, because it's pretty much. I'm going to give you this big lump sum of money, right, up front, and you better not deny it. But the interest on it is crazy. We franchise tagged D-Law 2 times.
Yeah.
And then when it was time to pay the man, we had Stephen Jones saying literally,
Yeah.
hey,
You're not-
he ain't no Khalil Mack.
And no Von Miller.
He ain't Von Miller. So, hey, all D-Law was sitting there saying like, hey, man, I had double-digit sacks, man,
Right.
2 seasons in a row.
And he was a number
Right.
one free agent.
Number one free agent, and didn't allow him to test the free market or the open market.
Yeah.
And that's not the old
Football's a
old
dirty
movement.
game.
It was also
dirty game.
it also happened with Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
Because now what it is, it brings this wedge up.
Yeah, this wedge.
The money versus the value versus the player versus the stat line for your mind. And then people saying, hey, man, if he's really all in, take the discount.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say this before I let somebody else go because I know I'm kind of
No, you
talking.
cooking all over
I'm
the
cooking
dog.
though, man. I'm
Man,
getting some of that
good.
mama's cooking over here.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, within the confines of that, ladies and gentlemen, Rico Gathers was getting paid more than Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott haven't seen the open market since 2016. Think about it. He was
And they
franchise tagged
tagged Dak,
twice.
Law.
Yeah, they tagged him in twice.
Dak. Like,
So,
man,
yeah,
listen,
that's
I know Micah already said you don't speak for him, but I'm going
Right.
to say this.
True.
It's hard for me to imagine not having trust issues with the organization. Like, I just can't imagine watching your quarterback get tagged,
Right.
watching Amari give a team-friendly deal
Yeah.
by turning down Washington, who wanted to give him more.
About 6 million more. Yeah.
And then when you're here, you're under-targeted, and they say it was our system.
Yeah.
It was our system. So it's one of those things to where I see it from this standpoint.
Yeah.
Some people say selfish, right?
Right.
I also see, why would I put myself in a situation that could be used against me when it's time for me to do what's best for my family generationally?
True.
Like, so I don't even really think this is something that's of Micah creating. I think this is something that's of the culture of us not really showing that we willing to do whatever it takes for our best.
I mean, honestly, I can honestly commend Jerry, because if Jerry wanted to, he could have did Micah dirty.
What you mean?
What you mean? Break it
Tell him
down.
that linebacker.
I mean,
Difference between linebacker and defensive end is like $20 million a year.
I know.
It is.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
you know what I'm saying?
to piggyback off of what you're saying,
Man.
Jerry has gone in the media like, hey, we got to pay Micah. Like he said, we got
did
to
say
pay
that.
Micah.
Yeah.
He said that numerous times in the media. Like
Yes, he knows.
he knows we got to pay him. Like he knows he cannot lose Micah Parsons, and he gonna do right. You know, they call Stephen Jones Cat Boy on the internet.
Yeah.
Cat Boy go have to, he gonna make it happen this year.
Yeah.
And speaking of
It'd
that,
be smarter to pay him now.
it's smarter to
It's
pay
going
him
to
now.
be way more expensive later.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, you know, last offseason, we consider that an all-in move by the Cowboys, traded for Stephon Gilmore, traded for Brandon Cooks, because this team doesn't do moves like that.
No.
Right.
As it hasn't been in their DNA for a while. That was considered an all-in move.
Consideration
For what we do here.
Yeah, that's our all-in.
That was our all-in move.
Right.
What do you think the Cowboys can do this offseason to consider all-in? Because you see these teams like Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit has been guttered for how long has Detroit been guttered?
30-some years. Yeah,
30-something years.
Yeah. Well,
They're consistently improved each year underneath Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
What do they do in a draft? They got a running back.
Yep.
And they got a linebacker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does this team need?
Running back.
A running back
Linebacker.
and a linebacker.
Yeah.
We needed to control the line of scrimmage, the time of possession. We ain't been able to do that.
But let me break this down once
I ain't
again.
gonna lie, we don't really need a running back. We need better offensive line scheme, a center,
For sure.
definitely a tackle.
Yeah. Where?
Left tackle?
Left tackle?
Left tackle for sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Cause you know what I mean? We don't know if we're gonna get another healthy season, bro, out of Tyrone Smith, bro. We don't know that.
Well, let me say this once again.
Right.
That's the question every year. I mean, to be honest, yeah.
When I was talking about the franchise tag, and I'm going to expound on this a little bit more, when I said about the title owned places and the check and go places, you never see them in prominent neighborhoods. You only see them in the poorest neighborhoods. I need for the Cowboys to deal away with that franchise tag stuff, because I'm not saying that we overpaid for Tony Pollard, but that was 10.
We overpaid, man.
He said it. Now Mama Pollard. Now Mama Pollard and everybody. Look,
Yeah.
hey.
Now,
He
when
said
I
it.
say
He
that-
said it over here.
When
I didn't say
that,
it. Go
I'm
ahead.
saying it from a market perspective, right? So they paid him early. So
True.
they didn't know that the running back market was getting ready to be depressed like it was last year.
Yeah.
So they paid him first. So since they paid him the $10 million first, it's like, okay, we paid him because we needed him, but they had no idea that Swift was gonna go for $5 million.
Come on.
Right? They had no idea that pretty much it was gonna be a value deal with everybody else. So yeah, it was too much compared to what played out in the market. Now, am I saying that he's not a valuable player? Absolutely not.
No.
Because he is very much a valuable player, but in compared to people of his skill level,
Right.
it was based on what happened in the market last year too much.
Yeah.
And I honestly would say this is something that I believe they should learn from. Because
Right.
if you saw the running back market depressed and a great deal last year, why not assume it's going to happen again and go into that market and take advantage of it? You can mess around and get Saquon for a cheaper deal. You can mess around and get and my number one free agent back that I really want them to go after is Swift. I want them to go after Swift because he make the most sense to me. Low
Saquon?
tread.
Over Swift?
Oh.
No, not both.
No.
Not over.
Swift over Saquon?
No, I said both. I want both, man. I'm trying to go get everything.
They try to get everything.
But this is my logic for it, Terrence.
Yeah.
My logic for it is it's because the market presenting you that type of deal. When you see Swift at $5 million and you see Saquon that basically put out there, hey man, the running backs will not been treated right, and then let's see what happened to you. You actually summed up what they've been saying. Y'all injury prone, y'all not really consistent. They happen to you again. So how you go demand more? This is the time to where the Cowboys can get ahead of the market to me.
True.
Don't wait. It's like you see, it's depressed. Go get you what you need, more running backs.
True.
And I really, honestly, I'm being honest, I don't really like the idea of going into the draft in this particular draft because I don't think this draft is as talented as last year. So if you try,
Remember?
not to me.
That Trey,
I like running backs.
You like the running backs?
I like some.
the Michigan kid,
Yeah.
and
Both Michigan
Florida,
kids.
both of them, and that Trey. But then again, those guys
But I'm
can
saying
go.
the volume, the volume.
Yeah.
Like for instance, it was like you could have picked a running back last year, round 3, round 4.
Keaton Mitchell did
Like,
a hell of a job.
Yeah. So it's to me, that's why I said I don't like. It's not that I'm not saying that they not there. I just don't think it's as many.
Yeah.
And it's a different story putting that silver and blue with the star on the side of your helmet too, trying to run. And we all talked about O-line.
Yeah.
How come the Cowboys are the only team that need everybody to be a Hall of Fame on the offensive line? I've seen the 49ers go in there with only Trent Williams, right? Everybody was banged up, hurt, and we were like, yeah, dog, we're going to at least be able to slow them down.
Coaching.
And CMC went up there and just ran over everybody. So,
Scheme and coaching.
Scheme.
I would put that on. And when you have a talent at running back like Christian McCaffrey, he could go to the hole anytime he touch it.
Force multiplier. So that's why I said the closest thing that's out here on the free agent market, you're going to have to pay a little bit for it.
Yeah.
And you got to hope that, hey, that injury thing is just an injury thing of the past. And his name is what he just said, Saquon, Barkley, you know.
why not? Like, this is the best time to do it. Now, you said something that really got my attention.
Right.
You said that the running scheme, like, I really would want you to elaborate on what do you see scheme-wise that's preventing the running game to be all it can be?
Well, number one, last year, you know what I mean, under Kellen Moore, we was in a zone run scheme.
Yeah.
Do we change from a zone to a power run scheme?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have 2 zone running backs. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think we average like less than 2 yards per carry up the middle. Something like that.
Here's the thing though. We had Jeff Blasco, who was our running back coach, new running back coach. Shout out to Skip Pete, where he did a great job when he was here. Gary Brown before he got, may he rest in peace. And Jeff Blasco, that was his first opportunity to coach up this team. Not only with that being new, we had Mike Solari, right? So he's more of a pin to pull. He like to get his guys out in space. And first and foremost, for the opening parts of the season, we had a lot of guys with hamstring injuries, right?
Yeah.
Those things can be lingering throughout the season. So I know Tyler Biotish, he had that hamstring pull. We missed a few games with Tyler Smith too, with that hamstring thing, because they were doing more pulling and getting out in space and with that power scheme, like you were saying. And then let's be real with it. Tony Pollard coming off of an injury.
Right.
That was his first time with that workload.
Yeah.
He used to average, 12 to maybe 14 touches. Now you got to ramp that up to 10. Of course, this is the thing. I know my name is law, but there's also another law of diminishing rates of return.
Yeah.
We had those too high of expectations out of Tony Pollard when I was banging on the table. Let's throw in somebody else. There's nothing wrong with being a Nightwing. There's nothing wrong with being a Robin. There's nothing wrong with being Luigi. But that's who Tony Pollard is. You got to match him up with somebody else. Break that down.
I can't necessarily say that. I think he can be the future back. I just felt like this year just wasn't a healthy enough year for him to do that.
Fair enough.
Very fair. And a lot of people don't consider that is most athletes. That's why I'm not.
Yeah, most people say, "Oh, he's on the field, he's healthy." That's never the case.
True.
And see, because I'm also saying that people need to be patient for Diggs. Like people making an assumption that he's going to be just what he was. It's like, bro, you probably need, because people did that with Steele, right? People said, "Oh, what's going on with Steele?"
I said Steele the whole year. I was like, bro, he had a devastating injury.
Yeah, not everybody come back from that.
Right. People don't realize that he went down the exact same time as Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray wasn't ready for training camp
at all.
We didn't even see Kyler Murray till like November.
You're about to say middle of the season,
right? But what was the expectations of the fans? They was like, "Still, he out there,
and then you got him paid."
I think something else was going on with Kyler Murray. I think they wanted to move on from him, but something changed.
Okay.
I think something else was going on.
That's fair too.
I think something else was going on.
Preparedness, I still would say.
But even I said for Diggs this year, I said we got to bring Stephon or Lewis back, because Diggs ain't going to be 100% till middle of the season.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And probably even later than that.
Yes.
And let me just say this too, with our team.
Fair.
With our team, just to be fair, with the other teams, when they see an issue like that, they jump on it.
Right.
We move good, but we move too slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like we should have been all on Jalen Johnson like a cheap suit when he was available to trade for him, because you pair him up, you put him on the outside. There's less pressure on Deron Bland. You can move him back down inside as the nickel corner, and then Gilmore can still work and operate on the outside. And then Gilmore got hurt.
A guy like that.
Huh?
Exactly. Here's the thing. This front office values draft picks more than anything. Want to know why? Brandon Carr scared them to spend money. Let's be completely honest. They spent that. The last time they blew a bag was on Brandon Carr, and we see OBJ one-handed.
You got to be careful who you spend a bag on. Do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what that has a lot to do with the front office. You know what I mean? It ain't a whole lot of due diligence. Like, the scout didn't know Michael was a pass rusher, could rush the passer. Didn't know he was a number 3 rated defensive end out of high school. You know what I mean? They didn't know that. You know what I mean? They didn't know that. Like, how do you not know that?
And they just saw the tape they saw recently from college.
Shout out to my guy, the OC, man.
The OC called it. The OC and like the OC said, like, from watching Micah high school, like that, he can. And matter of fact, he said on draft night, OC said on draft night, if you put Micah Parsons at any kind of edge, he go get you minimum 8 sacks. He said that the day that everybody was saying he was a linebacker. So it does say something about homework or the lack thereof. Ray, I want to jump in on something also to kind of piggyback on what you just said about valuing our draft picks. I think it's a detriment to this team the way that we overvalue our draft picks. I think it's to the point to where it's destructive. And I know they mean
Like this offseason.
Just all the time.
Like this offseason we were so dependent on our draft picks this offseason. No draft pick from this past season really made an impact.
Yeah.
There was no impact. Right. You had more of an impact from your undrafted free agents like your TJ Basses, Brandon Aubrey's.
Right.
Who else was a undrafted free agent? I mean, those are really the main two that stick to mind. But like, you spent a second round pick on a tight end that you really didn't need to spend a second round pick
at all.
No.
Terrible.
I couldn't even remember who was all on the board.
To sell that, but it was never common sense.
A-Chain was there.
Yeah. It was so many other
so many people.
Guards
So many people there.
Yeah.
So many people. That was just better players.
Now, I think Overshawn would have made an impact his rookie year, but unfortunately he went down.
Definitely would have.
Who was the 4th round pick? No, we traded that for that's this year's pick. We traded it for
Junior P. Hoko.
Do we see him?
Awesome Richards. I think Awesome did a great job in preseason and also in training camp.
He definitely
a couple guys that we got.
Eric Scott Jr.
And we can't sleep on Jalen Brooks though. I just think that we have so many people in that room. We still waiting on the other Jalen.
Yeah.
But Ray, I was actually getting something a little bit more nefarious. Shout out to my boy Landlord. It's the over treatment of our draft picks to the point to where they even call those guys our guys.
True. Yeah.
So it's like from a coach's standpoint, when you say our guys, it's an automatic assumption that some guys on the team are not our guys. So when we go and we see San Fran, you don't see that culture in San Fran. If they get Christian McCaffrey, they not treating them like, yeah, we got you, but you really not one of us because you wasn't drafted. But you kind of see that culture with the Dallas Cowboys, which to me is a morale thing. It's kind of like, how can I ask all of these guys to play together if at the very top they are communicating with pride and with their chest out that some of these guys are our guys, some of these guys are not our guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think what it is the money.
It is, no doubt. They doing it for budgets.
Everything's about the money.
But the problem is you putting the bag over morale. So like, how can you ask these guys to play together when you put money over what's really first, which is getting these guys to play together?
Because you got an organization that I keep saying, like, they got an organization okay with just being good enough. You know what I mean? Like, you got an organization that's just okay with being good enough. We're good enough to win, but our star players got to play the best 4 games of their life. You know what I mean?
Boy, you dropped the anvil over there.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's so unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been saying for years, like, you gotta bring the, like, you know what I mean? You gotta go all in. You know what I mean? Like, you got to.
And guess what? I'm finna say this though. Other teams, like we saw the other day, in the playoff, we seen Fred Warner make a play. We seen Bosa make plays. We seen Debo make a play. We even seen the quarterback make a play. Multitudes of guys made plays. Even if we go talk about the Chiefs, multitude of guys make plays. But in the Cowboys world, we were looking for only in the playoff
4-11.
4-11.
Get us out of here. We're drowning. 4-11. Rescue us. That be perfect.
MP4. You know what I mean?
Like, it just don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Micah Parsons is 4.
It's so unfair to them. You know what I mean? When there's 22 other guys out there. You know what I mean? It's so unfair to them.
And let me break this down. How long Aaron Donald been in the league, bro?
Like 12, 13 years, something like that.
He's been one of the most dominant players that you can ever lay your eyes on in the last 10 to 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. But when you also contextualize even Aaron Donald, he couldn't do it by himself.
No.
They had to go get a Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. They had to go get Floyd. They had to go get a Von Miller. Mm-hmm. They had multitudes of weapons to put around. Odell Beckham and
that's
them.
What I mean, like,
Go in.
The way that they was writing them checks, I was like, who's in their front office? Where are they getting this money from?
Right.
Because in Dallas, we swear we ain't never got none. Never got none.
Right.
Today defense, we are negative 19 million in the hole right now.
But guess what? We're 19 million in the hole, but if we was to sign Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah today, we'll have a whole lot more money in the bank.
But if we wait and not sign those boys, the 3-letter, the 4-letter, gonna talk about them, and they gonna talk about it.
That
Is
price.
he the guy? Will he be able to get over the hump? Will he be able to do X, Y, and Z things? So that's what it is. Before the season kicked off, most of the people from the outside was having reservations on CD Lamb.
Yes.
It took all the way to week 5 before after week 5, the people said, "Hey, CD him."
Him.
Right.
Matter of fact, spam him.
Spam Lamb. Shout out to the landlord on
Shout
that
out.
one. Yeah, so it's a lot of things like that, Ray.
So let's talk about this real quick. All right.
Uh-huh.
So what we know McCarthy's coming back.
True.
We're still on the fence about Quinn coming back. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Who on the fence?
Well, we don't know. We don't know if he's coming back.
I like that.
Let's put it that way.
Who on the fence?
It ain't set in stone if he's coming back. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that one. Like, what should we do if Quinn doesn't come back? Also, see the Philadelphia Eagles copying cat. Trying to be copycats.
Oh, that's going to backfire.
They signed. We saw they signed Kellen Moore.
Yes.
Okay. And they thought they got the Cowboys stopper Vic Fangio
Oh yeah.
as their defensive coordinator.
Nah, he might be a problem.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I
He might be
mean,
a problem.
if you really break down the numbers, the Cowboys played against him. He only had like 1-2 good games against the Cowboys.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's a good defensive
He's a good
line.
defensive
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
just from a scheme standpoint.
Honestly, I thought he was going to San Diego to
But
get back
yeah,
to
I mean,
Harbaugh.
what it is, though, he ain't going to have the weapons over there, though.
Yeah,
so,
right.
he's going to have to build that defense up.
Yeah, they got
You
to
need some
work.
DBs first.
So we
get to
got
work.
that. So, I don't know if y'all saw also, there's been a rumor going around. If Dan Quinn doesn't come back, Ron Rivera is a name to be looking out for the defensive coordinator position here in Dallas. But a lot of people don't know this story. Before the Cowboys hired Wade Phillips back in about 2006, they interviewed Norv Turner, who was the quarterback coach here,
Right.
and OC here when we had Troy Aikman.
True.
Norv Turner wanted to bring on Ron Rivera to be his defensive coordinator if he got hired on in Dallas. So Dallas have always wanted Ron Rivera.
Right.
If Ron Rivera were to come to Dallas, what do you think he would do with this defense?
Linebackers.
Yes.
4-3. It'll be 4-3.
The linebackers would go crazy with
Defensive
on the run.
tackles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to have all of that. And, you know what I mean? And like I said, I like Ron Rivera, you know what I mean? And yeah, he's a good defensive mind. And I feel like if he's smart, he's going to use Micah the way he need to use him.
Right.
Uh-oh.
So briefly, what went wrong with Dan Quinn? Because he came in anything was better than what we had before at Mike Nolan. All right?
True.
Oh, no doubt.
Dan Quinn came and kind of corrected the ship.
He did.
He came and corrected the ship. But I feel like we didn't take that next step.
Because
compared to himself
is out on Dan Quinn. The blueprint is out.
And
You know what I mean?
and how much credit is he's taking?
Yeah.
Too much.
Oh, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going.
know where you're going.
You said too much, right? How much credit is he taking? Because there was another guy named Joe Witt Jr. who interviewed for that defensive coordinator spot.
Right.
Although he didn't get it, he stayed here, right? And he played. He pretty much played the role on our DBs getting our
Passing
heads
lane
around
coordinator. Yep.
to the ball,
The drills.
getting the INTs.
Yep.
And if anybody do their research, you will see that wherever Joe Witt Jr. been, DBs get hands on the balls. They take the ball away.
Well
and
said.
Dan Quinn forte is what defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's always been up front
But he
and
getting
utilizing
credit for all
linebackers
that.
here and there.
Yeah.
So he getting the ultimate credit for everything. Shout out to Al Harris. Shout out to
Joe
my
Witt.
guy Joe Witt Jr.
Yeah.
I think that they need to be elevated and praised and talked about just as much as Dan Quinn. Now, I'm not saying that Dan Quinn didn't do anything because he did establish a culture and he's a very great communicator. He was different, man. When I went out there to Oxnard, he had his hands on the players and people gravitate to him. Yeah.
I thought he was going to be head coach.
He's a great leader of men.
Yeah,
You know,
he
I
is.
say that. But like, it comes to a point where you have to listen to your star players. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
When if so and so comes to you and be like, hey, listen, like I think we could do this.
Right.
Like, I think we would benefit tremendously from doing this. But you want to be stuck in your ways, no adjustments, you know what I mean? There's no way, you know what I mean, you want the best for the team, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Let me step in just real quick, Terrence, because you asked the question, Ray, about what happened with Dan Quinn. I think a couple of things happened with Dan Quinn. I think front office also meddles too much with both coaches. I think they meddle too much with Mike McCarthy as well as Dan Quinn, because there are certain things that start looking like it was out of their hands. Like you don't go get Fowler and have Fowler have the ratio that he did when it came down to sacks to pressures and disruption that he was doing, and don't ramp him up. Yeah. It goes back to that our guy stuff. And so when you are favoring your draft guys because of the budgets, right? And you making business decisions versus personnel decisions, then you can have star players go to him and make a good idea, but then when his hands tied because of his bosses, that causes a difference in what's smart and common sense. Then it's like your hands are tied. So that's one thing. Number two, I think what happened to Dan Quinn, I'm going to be all the way honest, I think he's a nerd. I really do. I mean that. And I'm not knocking him and killing him, but I'm saying he got a little bit too cute on certain things to me. Like, I think he's experimental, and he plays with things, and he's willing to go through the scientific methods, figure things out. But then once it's disproven, stop it. You know, like I saw things that I started seeing last year, and I brought this up on the Final Word. When I saw him take Neville Gallimore and have it at the wide 9, I said, hold on, bro. Like some things, like that's not even worth experimenting with, bro. Like we already know this guy not built for that. You done already put all his weight on him, and you put him out the wide 9. Then you got LVE playing off the edge. Like, come on, bro. Like, what we doing, bro? You already got way more talent. Like, I understand you're trying to see what these guys can do, but damn, bro, you already got people out there that's already better at that. So what we experimenting with? And then on top of that, I don't know if this is his fault or front office. I didn't really, and I don't believe that smaller linebackers is going to last long term. I think it's good for 1 year, 2 years, but you can't put them dudes in the middle of them trenches and get game in and game out, balls going on the second level. That's what separated Kurt's shoulder. You know what I mean? When Kurtz got his shoulder separated, it changed him. He was brave at first until they banged his ass. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if I'm correct. Yeah, until they banged him, and then I saw him, and I separated my shoulder. It'll change you.
It'll change you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things to where I honestly believe that Dan Quinn is somebody that front office should step in on if he come back and say, hey, I'm cool with the experiments, but we're not going to go against the laws of physics for your plans and your nerd stuff that you're trying to do to be creative. Like, now, in terms of the good things about him, he definitely got a plan for his players. He definitely know what he want. He definitely is a people's guy. You can tell the guys love him. Not like him, love him. You know, you can see the respect for him. My thing is, do they even fear him? So it's just to answer your question, when I put it all together, sometimes I would, and I said this is the last thing I'm going to say about Dan Quinn. I started to see the standard leave in terms of pursuit to the ball. Like, I consistently saw pursuit to the ball under Rod Marinelli. It wasn't one game that everybody didn't fly to the ball, regardless of talent. I start seeing it up and down under Quinn. So I think he lost a little bit of his standard, to answer your question, Ray.
Honestly, I think he started to lose the locker room.
Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. Break it down. Shoot, I'm all ears.
I'm
listening. Because, you know, I mean, you can just tell.
Yeah, you can tell.
You know what I mean? Like, you can tell, like, Buffalo game.
Right. Buffalo game. I swear I could have said the same thing at the same time.
Man.
You can tell. It was the standard.
Like, it was one drive. They didn't throw the ball one time and got to the end zone.
Oh, man.
Wow. I turned the game off. I said, they don't want to play. I said, they don't want to play. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
real.
And that's where it comes down to adjustments. Like, there's no way you went into that game against the Packers thinking that the dime defense was going to work.
Oh, man.
There's no way you did that. There's no way you did that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just things like that. Like,
so Terrence, why do these dudes want them back? Like, and see, my
break that part.
Because shout out to my boy Fuster King, because he said something.
Because at the end of the day, like,
let me say this real quick, because it was so fly. You got to hear the end of it. My boy Fuster said something that just stuck with me. Sometimes people say stuff and it hit your heart, it hit your soul, it hit your spirit. He said, everybody likes the cool teacher, but people remember the teacher they fear.
Exactly that.
That's a good thing.
You know what I mean? I'm not going, if you my favorite, if I love you as a coach, I don't want you to lose your job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to lose your job.
That's some
It's
light
kind
stuff.
of like the Jason Garrett theory.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of people like, yeah, man, that's still
Jason
Coach Garrett.
lost a lot.
But it took him a minute, though. It took him about 10
Move
years.
on from that subject. We're not gonna waste any time on this platform.
You're talking about Coach Red. Coach Red.
We're gonna go ahead. We don't talk about hand clappers on this show.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, guys.
But
But
I want to ask you a question while I got you here in a seat, because you being a family member, kind of a two-part question. How does Micah handle the media and all the criticism? So more specifically, there was a game, I guess the Giants game.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh, Micah's upset because he didn't get a sack or whatever." Like, what do you think about when people say stuff like that when they have no evidence?
Right.
yeah. First of all, I mean, if you watch any type of interview with Micah, he's a personable person. Like, he's one of those people. I want to bring myself, but I bring all of y'all with me if y'all willing to come and do everything that it takes. You know what I'm saying? So, that selfish thing is just never really. I've never seen him as selfish. You know what I mean? Being around him, he trains.
Right.
You want to train with him? Come.
Yeah, I done had Tony Mack on the show. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Sacks. He said it during the season. He was off of sacks. He was more on the impact.
Right.
Sacks is cool. We want to win games. We want to be dominant. We want to impose our will on the offense, and that's just where he's at with it. And that's why that thing, the chess piece for me was real important, because when you're moving them around like that, you're causing chaos for the offense.
Yes.
If they line up every day and knowing he's going to be right here, it makes their job 10 times easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and people say, "Oh, he should be a pass rusher." Well, he can rush the passer from the linebacker position.
But let me just jump in on this part right quick, because a lot of the fan base, they do look at the overall team, and edge rushers, we got a lot of them. We got Dorrance Armstrong. We have Law. We have Sam. We have Fowler. I'm talking about for the last year, when they was talking about pass rushing in general. Granted, Parsons is top in the league, right? As far as pressure and getting to the quarterback. He's generational talent. Our biggest hole on the team was at linebacker. Mm-hmm. So when people talk about, when people lament the fact that selfishness, they were looking for a moment where Parsons yelled to the high heaven saying, "Put me in that spot. I know I'm 10,000 times better than Marquise Bell. Put me in that spot. I know that I'm better than Damone Clark. No offense to Damone. I think the world of him. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
But he's a weak side linebacker playing Mike, right? So there's levels to, hey, Parsons, they know for sure they drafted him for linebacker, although he can be an edge rusher. Why he just didn't say, hey, put me on that spot as the linebacker instead of the edge rusher?
Oh, well, first of all, I like how you said Mike and weak side, because Micah wouldn't play Mike. Micah would play weak side. Damone would have to play Mike regardless.
Right. It's still a hole.
Yeah, because
go break it down.
But,
I got some on that for sure.
I'm about to say, because your weak side linebacker is the one that blitzes and drops in coverage. You know what I mean? Your Mike is the one that controls the defense, calls all the plays.
Green dotted.
And then moving on from that, I think Micah said it best in one of his interviews.
He was talking about Clark had to get the developmental reps.
Right.
Everybody,
After the Bills game.
Everybody got to get reps. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got to learn their position. Everybody got to get reps. And I was okay with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. At the time, I'm okay with that, because, you know what I mean? It's true. You know what I mean? It's true. But when it came to that playoff game, that's when I was like, okay. That's where I was like, in my heart, I'm like, okay, playoffs come. We know what the Packers want to do. There's no way he's not at linebacker. You know what I mean? We know what they want to do. Yeah, there's no way he's not at linebacker.
Yeah. Aaron was hot.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I watched that first drive, and I was like, okay.
After the first, second drive,
I said the first drive, I said they tried it. Okay. The real defense got to come on next, right?
Hey, I got to jump in on this real quick. Just something real quick, Ray. It's the feasibility of the selfishness too, that, because like when the thing that stood out is when Jesse Holly said He doesn't want to study. He doesn't. So when he said all of that, like I start thinking, because see, it was a time in mid-season. It's this guy named Coach Marv, a real good guy who really loved football. And we was getting ready to really go and do a show about the chess piece and Micah embracing it, right? And then we start thinking, I said, wait a minute. We getting ready to ask something that's almost impossible because he spent most of his offseason clearly training for Edge, right? You saw the handwork. You saw the mentoring of people and preparing for that chess matchup. But so we didn't see the mentorship with Luke or Sean Lee or nothing like that. We didn't see the time.
Sean Lee and Micah together, that would have been.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Oh, man,
but then but I start to realize we asking almost what's impossible and what could take years to really build him to a quality chess piece because you don't have a training camp. You don't have the installs. You don't have all the things that really build you into a middle linebacker. So, but we're asking him to do and go into another room, which is the linebacker room, when you really honestly in development sometimes need to develop at where you at first and then be asked to do that when you built that into your wheelhouse. So that's where the selfishness with me didn't connect.
Yeah. So like I was going to say, when Jesse Holly was even brought up this situation and scenario, the first thing, and you know what I mean, when he said he doesn't have the mental like Fred Warner, the first thing I thought in my head was the last time my brother even played 40% linebacker was rookie year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you know, like, and even then he was still getting used to the speed of the game.
Right.
So if you're not playing, if you're not doing something, you're going to lose it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're not doing something, you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
Sophomore, second season, it was 85-15.
Right.
Yeah.
This year is around the same, 80-20.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're not doing something, you can't expect for someone to do it at a high level. So I think it was more to do with that. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, when you came in a training camp, we had 7 linebackers. He wasn't focused on playing linebacker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You got a lot.
Yeah, you know I mean, we were moving them around, you know what I mean?
But let me interject just on this one part right here. You pay for what you get, Cowboys. When we start mentioning Fred Warner, people got to understand and realize he had D'Amico Ryans in his ear, who was a dog as a linebacker when he played. And he's a head coach now. You see what I'm saying? So those are different levels now. Shout out to my guy, George Edwards or what have you. I know he's gone. But we had for this year in the linebacker room, Darian Thompson and Scott McCurley.
Oh, God.
Those guys, no offense to Scott McCurley and Darian Thompson, but they ain't D'Amico Ryan. So you pay for what you get as far as that linebacker knowledge and information and wisdom and understanding of the game. So by the Cowboys going with that learn on the job, fly type of thing, you're going to get those results. And on top of that, Darian Thompson was a safety in the league, right? And he's coaching up linebackers. Oops.
Oh my God.
How many safeties we had at linebacker? I'm
Why
not beating
isn't
them
Sean
up.
Lee on the staff?
Why Sean Lee? Call Ken Norton. Call somebody, man. Come on.
If you being cheap and if you being cheap at paying coaches as well as because we all know
Learn on the fly.
Scott McCurley is Mike McCarthy's guy. All you got to do, Cowboy Nation, is go look at the bio. And look how it's so inflated on Scott McCurley. They giving him credit for drafting Micah Parsons. Just go look at the bio. They giving him credit for stuff that he wasn't even a GA. So I said this on the final word. When you have to inflate somebody's resume, they are not what you're trying to tell us that they are. And it goes deep into what you're saying on you have too many coaches also that's learning on the job in the contention window. Like, it made no sense to get rid of George Edwards for Scott McCurley. Like, what are we doing? Like, Scott,
come on, man.
Like, George Edwards, we could all see from the All or Nothing, we could all see that George Edwards had the respect of Micah Parsons. You could see it, bro. Like, you could see when Michael was leaning back and he was in him, right? Yeah. He was getting in him, but that's what you want to see. You want to see a coach who demanded respect to the point to where a star player is over here humble, right? Because you go now get the best out of him. I don't see that in no Scott. I'm just being honest. I see like a water boy. I see somebody that they go run over. And it goes back to why we lost the team. And you start, like you said, that Buffalo game, when you got all these old yes men and stuff like that, you are not going to get the best out of these Dallas Cowboys.
So after y'all saying all that.
Yeah.
Kind of in closing here. One by one, do we need to make a coaching change on the defense?
Yes.
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 Just complete overhaul?
No.
We got Joe Witt or somebody in-house. But because this is the thing.
Preferably somebody who's going to do something with the secondary to allow our pass rush to get home if we're going to keep Micah at the end.
Contracts overlap stuff.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I watched that Chiefs game yesterday, and they had the Ravens in a box.
Yeah.
Wow. Receivers couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. Blitz was getting home. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're making your quarterback stop, pause, have to look around, somebody's going to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this year, it was just none of that. We were allowing quarterbacks to 1, 2, 3, get rid of the ball. 1, 2, 3, get rid of the ball. You know what I mean? In perfect rhythm. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't do anything to really disrupt a lot of guys' rhythm. You know what I mean? When it came to those big games, those Josh Allens, the Tuas, you can put throwing Jordan Love in there now, I guess. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
You can.
You know what I mean? They all had stellar games against us. I mean, minus Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All had stellar games, you know what I mean? And I'm about to say, even the Cardinals, they scored on like 5 out of 7 drives, you know what I mean? Just running the ball and throwing short outs. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just can't win like that.
But how, this is the thing. I know we're wrapping up, but how can you sell that to the defensive coordinator to come in on a 1-year deal? Because at the end of the day, most contracts are 3 to 4 years, and he's sitting there looking at Mike McCarthy. He's on his last year of his contract. He don't have a full contract. So now we're looking at, I hate to say this word,
that's why I think it's running back season.
Yeah. You just got to run it back.
I do think Dallas is a little bit different.
I think it's running back season. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely think it's running back season.
Yeah.
Well, but if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm coming in, I'm thinking, okay, McCarthy's got a 1 year. Maybe this could be my opportunity to be the coach next year.
Yep.
That's what my mindset would be.
That's what I think makes us different in a lame duck year than other teams. It's the marketing and the value of being on a high profile team that makes us a little bit different than other teams that where they have lame duck coaches, because you're going to get attention in Dallas.
Yeah.
Some coaches I think will take that,
because we were calling for Quinn to be head coach for how many years? A couple years?
I wasn't.
It's high profile. Now, like the one thing that I would want to see, like, in terms of defense, and you talked about changes, I would want to see them really have a smart plan to truly develop Micah into a true queen on the chessboard. I said on the chessboard, some people trip and think I'm calling him a queen. I trust me, I saw that. That's crazy.
I feel like it's going to start when you give him the trust and the leeway to read the offense and decide what you're going to do on that play. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could leave it, like, we could have him at linebacker 40% of the time. And when you line up at linebacker, if that quarterback drops back to pass, go get him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And my thing is, it's like, why is his snap counts going down? Like, I'm looking at the fact that he played, and then I look at other people that play his position, they in the 90s. In terms of,
because we got that
rotation,
that rotation,
and that's crazy
by committee.
See, and that's crazy. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, Ray. That was one of the things
that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna sub him out at the defensive end position, why not put him at the second level?
Right, and see, this is the thing. Like Jesse Holly said, Micah don't want people stunting for him. Now, let me pause and everybody, let's think about that. I want my player pushing back on dumb things. I'm going to say that again. I want a player that pushes back on dumb things. That's what we all loved about Romo. We all loved that Romo would check out of dumb plays.
Right.
Now, I can't be cool when Romo do it. And then Micah Parsons say, why are we running stunts for people that's not as good as me?
That makes sense.
Right? Like, so I want him selfish in that. I want him selfish as hell on that to actually say, bro, what you doing, Quinn? Like, no, run that stuff for me. I'm the guy that's going to get there faster than anybody else on this whole squad. So some of the things that was selfish, when I really thought about it, I'm like, that's not selfish at all. That's actually smart. Like, even when Micah had the presence to call a timeout, Like that was smart. And that was one of my favorite moments is when he was looking to the sideline. He was like, timeout, like,
and I'm looking at the coach like, if your best player saying call a timeout, you call a damn timeout.
And the best thing, it worked. When them boys got rested, they closed that game out. And it was because he was thinking. He wasn't being no yes man. He wasn't out there, okay, coach want us out here until we die. He said, coach, damn, man. Damn, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just, to me,
situation awareness, man.
And I also want to point out that, I mean, if he's taking on 2 and 3 guys and nobody else is winning, what makes you think he's going to go to this linebacker and they're going to be winning?
Yeah.
I mean, it just don't make sense.
It's a twofold.
That's what I'm saying. I see it from both angles. That's why I think it's going to be I think it should be a 60-40 thing. You know what I mean?
But in closing, I would look at it like this, though. Just draft you a linebacker.
Yeah.
Draft you one of them linebackers.
Queen insurance.
That's all they do is just play linebacker in the middle of the field, like I said on the other podcast, with a linebacker neck. And all he did was watch Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, Junior Seau. I want that linebacker to just be right in the middle of the field. Now, granted, Overshawn, shout out to him. He's my dog, but we're going to have to give him a little time to recover. Yeah, you're going to give him time to recover.
Mozzie's got to make that next step. Mozzie has to take that next step. We got to have a tackle to eat up.
He's putting in the work.
He putting in the work. Mozzie putting in the work. But also, what the Niners did, they had drafted a guy by the name of Kinlaw, right? And he's slow to develop,
like they all are.
What they did, they picked up the phone and they pulled a trade or a free agency pickup of Hargraves, right? That's an immediate shortcut to all of this. Chris Jones, of course, they had a homegrown guy for the Kansas City Chiefs. But if we look at the teams that's playing in the Super Bowl, they got interior help.
Yeah.
So their linebackers can rally, fly, run, hit, and do the rest. Yeah, so we need to do the same thing, man.
Go on my podcast. You need a linebacker that's just going to be violent. Take on blocks, meet fullbacks, play downhill. We don't have none of them.
Man, I appreciate y'all taking y'all time out today.
Yeah.
Come on here and talk. Real quick while we're wrapping up, everyone shout out all your social media platforms so people can find y'all at.
Oh yeah, YouTube, Real Talk Parsons and Capers. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, @TParsBoy.
Boss Cowboy Sports, man, on all the platforms. You go find me on Boss Cowboy Sports.
Yes, indeed. Law Nation Sports at lawnationsports.com, and you can check me out on all platforms under Law Nation Sports.
I want to say one more thing too. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Law.
No worries.
Like, because Law personally invited me, and thank you, because it's
no worries.
Cool platform. Appreciate it.
No worries. I'm glad we were able to come on, have this discussion, because some people would have been like, "Hey, yo, that's my brother." But you should do that for your brother. You know what I'm saying? But you were cool.
It was level
and had decorum about it. I greatly salute.
I just like talking football for real. I talk with the best of them.
Yeah,
SOB we did. Stand on business today.
So again, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Following all these gentlemen. Make sure you like and subscribe all of my content. There's going to be more of these Cowboy talks as this offseason, it hasn't even started yet, but we gonna get into the nitty gritty of it. There's going to be some draft talk, free agency recaps and stuff like that. If you haven't seen the infamous video and podcast we did, that thing is still up there flying. I guess go check that out. If you want to go watch it before, or you already watch it now. I won't say why. Go back and watch it. But go back and watch that. I start off the show with positive words. I like to end with positive words. All right. So get your swag on, rub your hands together like you Birdman. So tell yourself, I will boss up mentally. I will boss up spiritually. I will boss up physically. And I will boss up financially. Invest in yourself. It's your boy Ray. Ray's podcast. Law Nation. Cowboys Boss Talk over here. Terrence Parsons. We out to stay.
Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right. Hey, get money all day, get